What's up, guys? It's Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here with another video, and so we all knew this was gonna happen. Over this weekend, Birds of Prey has bombed worse than Jonah Hex. Does anybody even remember Jonah Hex? Was I in middle school or in high school when Jonah Hex came out? I don't know. That just shows you how very little. I just know that I did see the movie, probably because I was young, so I just wanted to see any type of comic book movie. But let me reiterate some things from my last video, because there's only a few things people seem to be targeting instead of listening to everything. You cannot deny the movie was marketed wrong. It would have probably just been a standard rated R action comic book film had it had none of the woke marketing and had they titled it correctly, because it shows you now how desperate the movie became. There's a title change to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. The movie should have just been Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. That would have been an easier title, because right now, out of the DCEU, she's only had 2 appearances, and she is at least somewhat knowable. And Margot Robbie does help her. Help that role, because everyone knows who Margot Robbie is. But don't studios see the result of this type of poor marketing? Maybe because they knew the film was going to bomb. Maybe because they knew the film was going to be bad. There's excuses flying about saying that, oh, it would have been blamed on Sonic. Yeah, probably had they waited a week and released it on Valentine's Day, Sonic probably would have got blamed. But there's a clear difference. Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game movie that's already carrying the curse of a video game movie. Comic book movies nowadays, due to Marvel, are being in high regard, held high by the critics and the audience. I mean, the Joker came out, people, last October. There's no excuse for Warner Brothers to be putting out films like this, of this poor quality, trying to rip off Deadpool. And I know the Fox franchise is not the best film universe, but the X-Men film franchise, that universe is far superior to the DCEU. It's insane how terrible things are turning out. I mean, I love Ewan McGregor, but I hate what he was doing. I did not like how he was pushing things with misogyny, the movie tackling sexism, because to be honest, the movie doesn't have a lot of that. It does, and it doesn't. Okay? You could tell that they wanted to push that message heavy, but couldn't change it in time. So they reduced it under the surface, but the fact is that it shouldn't have been there. And the DCEU, from the very beginning of its inception, they failed right after Man of Steel, only with a few bright spots being Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Joker, Shazam. Because I won't lie, those were fun. I mean, Aquaman is one of my favorites out of the DCEU. It was only Man of Steel for the time being, because, just say what you will, Man of Steel was a fine Superman movie. But Aquaman came along and changed that. See, other media does Harley Quinn better, and her counterparts, such as in comics and the cartoons. Even the silly, stupid-looking Harley Quinn kids TV show that I think it's on Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network. I think it's Cartoon Network. Yeah, Cartoon Network. Even that encapsulates Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey characters far better. And I don't even watch the show. That tells you the state that DC is in. This movie looked like a CW TV special given a bigger budget and put on a bigger screen. If they were going to go this route, there's several ways this could have worked. But I'm going to tell you one way how the DCEU could have made this film work all the way back as Man of Steel. How DC should have approached this. Okay, Man of Steel, though not the best start to your universe, It was at least a medium point from the start. It was at least a decent way to go. This is how you should have handled it before you started tackling Suicide Squad and this Harley Quinn Birds of Prey film. Man of Steel should have been first. Batman should have been second. Wonder Woman should have been fourth, because Aquaman should have been third. You could have just introduced the Flash and Cyborg separately in Justice League to reduce the amount of characters you would have to establish stories for. Then after Justice League is when you should have did Suicide Squad. Then introduced the idea of the DC multiverse. Then you could have done your Joker standalone, still the same way. Then redo the Joker from Suicide Squad and not make it that Joker. Make it at least much closer to, like, for example, the Arkham City or the Arkham Knight series Joker, like the Rocksteady Arkham series, and have Harley Quinn and him have a fallout for some reason due to betrayal, not the stupid off-screen reason we were given in Birds of Prey, where she blew him up in the Ace Chemical factories. Oh, because he was created there, and it makes sense that he would die there. Is the motherfucker the One Ring from Lord of the Rings or something to do some stupid... It's like the only way the Joker could have been killed is in the very place he was created. Like, come the fuck on, man. I'm not saying that was said in the film, but you instantly get that vibe. I mean, at least I got that vibe. But anyway, that's exactly what Warner Brothers should have done. They should have established the superheroes first, did a Justice League at least at movie number 5. Okay, because let me reiterate it. It would be Man of Steel, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman as the first 4 films. Number 5, have the Justice League. At least there would have been some sort of setup to set up Darkseid and Steppenwolf. They should have set it up by at least at least by the Batman film. Set that stuff up in Man of Steel with some hints. Then, after that, have Suicide Squad take place during the fallout of the Justice League. Have Bruce and Bruce and Clark's relationship start to strain a little bit on what to do with the government relying on them or something to lead into Batman versus Superman. To have them fight. Then have Lex Luthor already established by the first. They should have had him at least in Man of Steel, played by someone else, not Jesse Eisenberg, because fuck that. Have the whole line through, because then by the time you're leading up to Darkseid, like him fully appearing, that will be the time to resurrect Superman, because then you could have at least had a few movies with him, then lead up to his death. Then, if you're going to take forever to do a Man of Steel 2, at least do it after a successful... If Suicide Squad, like I said, came out as like the 6th film in the universe, probably would have been more successful because it would have been different. Because then the staleness of seeing superheroes would have kicked in for the DC. Then they would have relied on this going into this villains as heroes factor. You know? There's a lot of ways they could have approached it, and that was the most basic way that I made it sound, just so it could have been done. A Harley Quinn spin-off movie would have been a great idea had the Suicide Squad been a more successful, coherent film in a coherent timeline of universes. A lot of these ideas they had in the DCEU so far, they're incoherent. Now, if they were all more coherent and placed in proper moments in the universe, or at least happening in coherent times, then Suicide Squad and the Harley Quinn movie and a Birds of Prey film, hell, if Warner Brothers was truly smart, after they did say a phase 1, like I kind of described, take what I said leading up to Justice League as a phase 1, the first 5 films leading up to Justice League, then kick it off with some villain stuff as a phase 2. You see? It's actually not that bad of an idea. Hell, I might just do a video talking about the DC timeline. No, screw it. I can do my own DCEU timeline officially right here, because I can tell that I'm just going to end up getting a little bit more matter because I really wanted the DC films to be good. But since I got 5 minutes left with this video, let me describe to you an actual coherent series of how these films should have gone, like at least the film orders. Like I said, Superman first, Batman second, Wonder Woman third, Aquaman 4, Justice League 5, Suicide Squad 6, Harley Quinn as like the 7th film, then do a Birds of Prey film as film number 8. That means you're 3 films into your second phase. Then have 2 more movies to bring your heroes back, then make the 5th film of a phase 2 of Justice League Part 2. Oh my god, I didn't even have to do that in 5 minutes. I did it in 45 seconds. See? Why don't they just hire fans to write the film universe? Okay? And each time from now on, Warner Brothers, how about this? Every time you see suspicious activity in your films, like how it's being promoted, or the people you have working behind the scenes, make them sign contracts saying that you can't say this, 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 and this. You're only allowed to say this, 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 and this. Because, I mean, I know that would kind of be, lying and baiting and elusive, but it could filter out the SJW social justice warrior pandering to the wrong fandom, or you're pandering to the wrong audience. Okay? You can't just take existing material and change it. You want a better idea? How about this? To pander to that type of audience, or to at least bring in that type of audience, make up your own characters with personal problems, with certain political views, with certain sexual orientations. Make up characters. Don't take already pre-established characters as well and change them. Do not. The prime example of what I'm saying is, despite how it may seem, and people say, oh, that's not the case, that was going to be the case, and it was still insinuated and showed through the film. Like I said, I will not forgive DC for what they did. They redeemed themselves with the Joker, because I couldn't forgive them for the Joker, but I doubt they're going to redeem themselves with Black Mask. Because, to be honest, Ewan McGregor, if he was playing the proper Black Mask in a proper Batman film, if he was actually allowed to play the sinister, evil, cunning, smart, type of criminal Black Mask is, Ewan McGregor could do a good job. And it wouldn't be that hard to give him an all-white and black tuxedo with the skull mask in a full villain role. Not a spoof of a villain. There could have been others. And then Victor Zsasz, you just destroyed 2 villains that could have been great in standalone Batman films. Why, Warner Brothers or DC? Why do you allow your characters to get destroyed? First you do a good couple films, but then you regress. It's like a drug addict. Okay? You give us a good few hits, and then we get hit with the addiction, and then when you give us something shitty, we don't want it. It's not that hard to be consistent with your films and still bring in a new audience, but respect the fans that came first. I'm sorry. I know how I might sound or whatever, but it's true, and it is what it is on this part. Comic book fans are for more of a, not male dominant, but more of a straight orientation type of thing. They've only been changed to meet the criteria, but there's nothing wrong with making your own characters like that. Like, why do you think Batgirl is failing? Batgirl could have been a good, or Batwoman, or whatever you want to call her, Batwoman, could have been a good TV show had they not done it the wrong way. And we all know what they have done to make it wrong. DCEU is in a lot of trouble, and I also fear for Marvel because they're also on a downward trend. I don't think after Endgame a lot of people are interested. It's going to be very hard, but no matter what happens, Marvel won't be damaged because they could afford to be damaged. Warner Brothers is on life support at this point after this. If you think otherwise, tell me in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. This has been Emperor John Kill 3D, and I'm sorry. Birds of Prey, I won't pretend to like it like most people on the internet are doing. I'm a real person that's talking, and boom. The movie is awful.